Our second destination for today is a new place we have not been before, and we are visiting another friend who runs a custom fabrication and modification shop, primarily targeted at, well, it's not actually Japanese cars, sorry. He does a whole bunch of different cars. I'm not going to give anything away, you'll just have to watch the vlog and find out, but he does some really rad stuff, so stay tuned and we'll get into it.
Oh no, my mask!
Where's your mask?
I need my mask.
We gotta drive
shit,
here.
Yeah, I'm doing that,
Okay, to the seriousness.
It's not red if I don't see it!
So this is apparently...
Get things in there. I need the mirror, thank you. Jesus.
This is apparently the dull setting on my light. This is the bright setting, ready?
Oh, can you like... No way! Seriously! You're telling me not to brake, I'm more concerned about crashing. Come on! So many spots.
Everyone's high beam is worse, Corey. My light's not that bad.
Yeah,
It was pretty bad, but...
Come on up, power!
No, it's gross.
That went up a whole 10 kilometers. I need that way.
And you just wasted half a tank.
No, it's still good.
Wait, we're racing the train. No. Wait, we're gonna be the train. I've never driven next to a train. Train, whatever, it's the same thing. It's on wheels. Goodbye, train, tram, thing, whatever you want. Tis food time.
Do you eat burgers and
I eat the fillet burger. Blah. You're not gonna eat a wrap. I don't eat a friggin' wrap.
What? I'm not gonna eat a wrap.
A wrap. What does it look like? Show me. Alright, we are at destination pit stop number 2. It is fairly late and it is fairly dark. Welcome to 679 Star. Yo!
I'm Chris Finlay, and for the past 10 years I've been on an endeavour to set up 679 style.
What is 679 Star?
679 style, depends who you ask. So 679 style to me is a community of people coming together to endeavour to build something that is what most would say obscure or unordinary. The scene today seems to be a sort of mass production of photocopy parts and photocopy kits, and the people that I involve myself with, the customers that I have, and those that I've aspired to be like, we're trying to break down that barrier and push to a different limit of custom cars.
Pretty cool. The shop looks pretty rad. You've already got like the whole floor is covered in cars. Like you got some pretty custom stuff going on.
I'm at a point now where we're consistently knocking back jobs, and that's a good feeling because I'm finally at a point now where people respect the work I'm doing, given that I am self-taught in this industry, and how far I have come from the work that I started out doing, building MX-73 Crusaders with sharp noses and E30 BMW chin lips and like that made from bonnets. So.
So your background kind of started in JDM cars and branched out into everything, so hot rods,
Yes.
lowriders.
So I had like a pretty heavy involvement with drag racing as a kid from my uncle. I couldn't afford to drag race when I grew up. It's a pretty expensive hobby, as most people know. At the time of me getting into this sort of stuff, Jap cars were just a little bit more attainable for my budget. I didn't really feel so bad massacring a very common at the time S13 or something of the likes.
$3 worth of cars now, 20 grand.
Come by now, still chopping up though. A lot of Japanese cars are influenced from hot rods, lowriders, things like that. So you know, the whole stance scene, that sort of stemmed from guys overseas who couldn't afford the hot rod and couldn't afford to do stuff like that. So then they started, you know, buying cheaper cars, which to the domestic market of everyone else was a Japanese import or something of those likes that hadn't sort of hit the oh my god market yet. So yeah.
Oh my god, market. I haven't heard that one before. That's pretty good. Can you give us a bit of a walk around?
Yeah. All right. We'll scoot through here.
So before we leave this room, this is the wonderful and very, very cool decked out office. Whole bunch of cool stuff in here.
The puppy's the coolest.
So how big's the shop roughly?
So the shop's just shy of 220 square meters.
Sweet.
Shop dog for us. He's pretty excited to be here tonight.
This is Forrest?
He likes the camera crew.
Forrest.
Pencil seeker, hey. Yeah, so the shop used to be a chocolate factory.
Chocolate factory.
No conditioning.
Whoa! Okay, this is unheard of, guys. This.
Yeah. A lot of my friends in America had air conditioned shops. It was a bit of a bragging point for them because over here to get that done is big money.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So if you guys have never walked into a mechanic shop before, or you don't know much about the trade, you don't get aircon. Never. Not even in dealerships. They just leave you out in the sun or in a really, really hot workshop. It might be 30 degrees outside, it'll be 50 degrees inside. So it's actually pretty sick to see aircon in a shop.
Yeah. So yeah, work hard, play harder. But everything in here, to an extent, is either custom or restoration. So it's all about like a lot of repetition, a lot of hours, and just staying out and being dedicated. You know.
What is this one?
This is a Ford Capri from Sydney.
Ford Capri.
It's a pretty common muscle car here in Australia, based off a car regularly available in the UK. I won't mention what it is because some people will argue with me, but that's where it came from. Yes, a two-door coupe. Most of them here are converted to V8. They did come with a 6 at one point. They also came with a 4-cylinder if they were based off the UK model I spoke about earlier, but pretty cool cars. I guess you would say Ford's version of Tirana.
Cool.
Yeah, come with little fluted guards factory. Pretty cool. You see there's a lot of JDM cars these days.
Yeah,
that's
actually.
when I mentioned the hot rod influences and street influences, this is where that sort of stuff stems from.
So can you give us an example of something that has been taken back to bare metal for good reason?
Yeah. You know, from a distance, this quarter looks pretty nice. At the moment, it's painted in a silver zinc, so it obviously gives it the bare metal look. It's still bare metal under there. I can wipe this off with thinners. It's a pro tip for you if you're building from home. But what the guy didn't know about is the inch-thick bog in the lower quarter panel and the expander foam. So yeah, that's something you don't really want to do at home. You don't really want to do it at a shop either. I wouldn't pay for it. I wouldn't expect you to. So
this came from a panel shop somewhere in Sydney in this condition.
Yeah,
and
he was charged big money. It's really upsetting because if he had have just been, you know, given the job right from the start, the dude's job could have been amazing. The work that they've done elsewhere in the car wasn't that bad. So it's just someone's cut corners, and yeah, it gives other shops a bad name. It gives people like myself who are really putting in the hours and putting in a lot of effort to make the car beautiful. It gives us a bad name from the start. You know, I do 18-hour days here most days by myself. When the boys leave, I'm still here chipping away to ensure that all my customers are happy. So yeah, this car here belongs to a really good customer of mine, Aaron. Shout out to Aaron. He's a legend. It's actually going 13B rotary.
Yep.
This car's a bit of an all-rounder, so we're building it to be able to go down the strip. We're building it to be able to tip in, turn 60 QR. Yeah, all-rounder. So the car will have custom knuckles, LCAs, all of that. But it's also running a shortened Hilux diff, which is a fair bit stronger than a standard Corolla diff.
Like it.
Personally, I would have loved to go down the IRS track with this, but he wants to stay live axle for the straight line side of things. I don't really mind that sort of setup. It's pretty cool. This car was initially going to go really, really short diff and big tubs with the wheels that he has. We're now going a full steel handmade wide body, so that's pretty exciting. Here we've got a K70 cross member. It's had all the mounts removed because this car's going to actually run a chest plate, which is like a drag setup where you run a facial plate off the front of the motor. It goes to the rails. So this cross member is being used purely for the steering rack conversion. It's a way better setup than what this steering box setup was. There was initially a whole heap of holes in here for the steering box and all that drama. We've gone through and shaved every single hole in the bay except for the heater hose hole here and the master. Basically the wiring's going to run through the heater hoses here. The master will obviously run through there. Any other hole in the bay is being used for the sole purpose of running things like your cross member bolts, and your brace plate for the chest plate on the engine. So other than that, no holes, fully smooth. Yeah, we took this whole bay back to bare metal inside and out over the space of 3 days. It's now sitting in an edge primer / high field combo because this car we're not painting, so we do paintwork here. We do the whole way through paint panel from building car. We do wiring with the guy next door. He does great work. But yeah, this car is just being paint paneled by another shop. So we just send it to him with a bit of a head start, so make it a bit easier for him from the get-go. So all the fab shops that you go to, unless they have a paint panel sort of section, wouldn't send your car in high fill. You get it either in bare metal and have to get it sandblasted again, or they just put it in a basic etch. Yeah, putting it in the high fill took all of an extra 10 minutes, and you just get a little bit of a better product. So
I've been meaning to ask since I walked in.
Yeah.
What is the story behind this?
So this right here is I nearly said Nissan. It's confusing me at this point.
Nissan powered Toyota.
Yeah, so it's a Nissoda, as you'd call it, from if you're weird like that. It's a Z20 Toyota Soarer. Not a very common car in Australia now, even less common. And the bloody Irish who buy all the cool shit here and take it overseas. I love it, but sneaky. So yeah, these are very cool cars, very common in Japan with things like the shark nose fronts and stuff like that. I actually swapped it for a Great Wall with a legend named Chris Ethel. So yeah, basically the process of the car being here for about all of 2 weeks, I've massacred the engine bay, to which you can see there's a bright purple SR20 sitting in there. Came from a mate of mine, Caleb, makes close to 400 horsepower when it's all set up. The idea was to run a 4-cylinder motor with the engine bay, this being so massive. I want to run a V-mount rad and intercooler setup, custom shrouds, really cool looking manifold, and I was trying to get as close as I can with the street car to mid-mount as possible, and I figured these things are weird enough to probably get away with it.
Got some entertaining neighbours.
Pretty common thing here. Yeah, if you ever drop by, feel free to send a skid on the way past, because we love it.
There you go, skids are authorised. Unofficially.
So yeah, you can see we've chopped a lot of the firewall out. I've chopped all these sections. So basically this car has been on a 20-inch wheel, it's been on an 18-inch wheel, it's been on a 16 and a 14, and I've made sure that at all steering lock angles, everything will clear. So that's the reason behind massacring so much of the engine bay. And we have some handmade sheet metal tubs. So yeah, basically it looks like a trailer tub, but I made it myself. It's been run through with dimple dye.
So that just started as like a piece of completely flat metal.
Piece of flat steel. I did run through dimple dye. I didn't got confused because I've got so many machines here. I ran through a bead roller, or a Jenny Swage if you're old school. So yeah, it's just a full radius tub. It's a 20-inch wheel. This is currently an 18-inch wheel with around 20-inch radius tyre setup. Sits in something like that. Obviously, with these bars in the way, I can't sit in there where it should at the moment, but everything's being made to go in after. The bars are in just to purely keep everything straight at the moment. I know it's ugly, but it's just all leftover bar work that I've had from previous jobs and whatnot, and I didn't want to waste any money that I shouldn't have to, so yeah.
But like you said, you've technically been in this shop, what, 14 days, and you've had this car sitting here for probably less than?
Yeah, so yeah, this car's, I think day 14 would be Wednesday this week.
Did it come in as like a complete looking car?
It was a complete car minus a motor and a front bumper.
Wow.
So we stripped the whole interior out day one, dry iced all the sound deadening. That's another pro tip, dry ice, sound deadening, ultimate combo. Yeah, so we did all the infill panel in the back here to remove the back seat. Those on there, I know the lighting's not going to be excellent, but I'll let people sort that out. Let there be light, as they would say.
This light.
So yeah, we've got a bead rolled parcel shelf top and a back seat delete. It's all been made to flow with the factory panels. The cage legs will run parallel down the windows through the shelf and into the back rail, which is a lot safer setup than going to your C-pillar.
So you'd be running the cage through the back parcel rack instead of running it down the C-pillars?
Australian street cars, if you're in Queensland, you can only run a 4-point bolt-in cage legally. Your basic bolt-ins will just bolt to your tubs. Tubs are not very strong. If you build it right, obviously it can be, but it's not the best place to brace it. Secondly, you're also adding a brace to a previously braced part of the car. So this is your C-pillar. It's already made to be very strong. It's made to take impact. The back windscreen area obviously isn't. So, if you can add an extra bar through here, you're opening yourself up to a lot more protection in other areas. If you're going to crush the car hard enough that it's crushed your pillars in your cage, well, the cars will ride off anyway. So you might as well put the cage somewhere cool, might as well put it somewhere it's useful.
So if you guys have ever heard the terminology when it comes to cars, roll cages, or anything of that form, especially with body shops, and some of these people, if your girlfriends are sitting there going, what the hell is a C-pillar? Think of it like this. A pillar, B pillar, C pillar. There are 3 pillars that are on the roof of this car. Not obviously all cars have 3 pillars.
Yeah, well, you got like a C33 Laurel, no pillars, pillarless in the middle. So A pillar, B pillar, no C pillar. Things like cars with moonroofs or T-tops, they're a lot stronger through the pillars as well, because obviously having sections of your roof missing obviously is a lot less strength that you could be packing in other areas by having a full roof skin.
So by T-top, you're talking like the 280ZX, where they've got the 2 compartments come out with the center in the.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're
I didn't want to draw on his paint.
Doing it on this car. We can put that down. To
these usually are removable glass.
Loki's followers. Do you want to see a T-top? Yes, I know.
Yeah, T-top Z20 with an SR20.
One like, and I will chop the roof of the Z20.
All right, guys, you heard that.
Yeah. So this car is in the process of having all its parts sent to CJ from Clouded Composites in Brisbane. He's a great fiberglassing guy. He's a bit new on the scene. I wish I knew him 10 years ago, because man, the work he does is phenomenal, and finding glass work in Australia is second to none. You're pretty much looking at guys that build boats and they got no interest in building cars, so it'd be really cool to see someone take off in sort of the fiberglass industry here, because obviously a lot of the kits come from Japan, and they're of the likes of like Liberty Walk or Origin.
Yeah,
and stuff
or the
like
replica kits, or copying someone else's
kits.
kits.
It's something, if we could get something like that over here, that'd be really cool for everyone, I think. Steel wide bodies, to the sense, are still legal in Australia, and as long as we...
One of the ways you can get left alone if you do it right.
Correct. So, and to the most part, the police that are pulling you over and stuff, they don't know what they're doing with these street cars, and if they do, if a cop pulls me over in this on the street and said, mate, what is the go with this? For him to know what a Z20 is to begin with, he obviously is passionate about the Japanese car scene or any of the rest. Yeah, that's a fair bit of hang, as you can see. It's an 8-inch lip on that wheel.
What are they, 18 by?
18 by 13 with an 8-inch lip. So yeah, they belong to a client of mine. I'm just borrowing them from mock-up at the moment. His car will be no doubt seen very soon in the next video. We're just keeping it under wraps at the moment for everybody's benefit. It's gonna be pretty wild.
Alright, now lucky last, I'm not going to show much of this because this will be featured in the next vlog when we get back out here. However, come check out some hidden gems in 679 style.
So yeah, this one's a bit of an interesting one. At present, until Alfred in the States beats me, it would be the first ever bagged and bodied Range Rover in the world. It's currently on 26-inch wheels. I'm unsure if Alfred over in the States is going that big. It's basically
26-inch wheels.
Yeah, it's a bit of a build-off between he and I at the moment.
Right, we did say Chris does a whole bunch of different stuff.
It's tubbed to the windows, so that's where the wheel sits. The idea behind that, the premise behind that is this car is being built for power crews, some of that stuff like that, where it can show up as a bagged sort of show car. Get those big ass American golf wheels off and put a drag radial tire under there and send it.
Power Cruise is like just big skids for Australians, isn't it?
Yeah. Like just big high power cars that are meant for the street, just tearing it up on a track, roll racing, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I figured a Barra powered Range Rover.
So you're putting a Barra in it?
Yeah, so we're aiming for between the 12 and 1600 horsepower mark.
Holy crap.
Working with a couple of shops around Australia with stuff like the Falling Arms and the IFS front setup, but yeah, we're just sort of keeping everything under wraps for now until it's at a more of a showable state, or if not rolling. It's something that we're just chipping away at silently at the back here. Luckily for us, it's an alloy body. It's in the UK, so rust free. Can sit in the rain as long as it wants. A bit different, but yeah, it's just something out of the ordinary.
Very different. I'd expect to see something like this in America.
Yeah, a lot of those guys obviously bag a lot of big SUVs. This to me, I did start a Prado a couple of years ago. We called it the Pralo, so it was on a Hilux chassis with LS setup. Unfortunately didn't get to finish it due to some circumstances, but yeah, this thing, although it has been modified a fair bit, it's one of the few SUVs that almost lays sill from factory with the right modifications. So
Jesus.
Yeah, still factory rails through the middle, still factory sills. We haven't have to chop any of that, and it lays flat on the ground. So yeah, pretty cool.
And this is the ride height that you're going to set the car at?
So this is at full bag height, although it will roll and steer to an extent, so I can scoot it up the highway at this height.
I've got to check out these wheels. You said that they are poking somewhere.
Yeah, Yeah. So yeah, as you can see, it's got no floor into the back. It's been severely chopped. We braced it all up. As you can see, we started making the cross member here. So that's the center cross member. That's made from a couple of bits of 4mm plate that I drilled out myself with gussets, etc. Was a full interior running car with a blown head gasket. So yeah, took everything out of it. We don't need it at the moment. We're running 2 bucket seats in the rear here. Hopefully running a parachute through the back door there. So the back door lifts in an upper parcel and a rear parcel, which is the lower section. So the idea will be to run the chute behind the lower section, open the doors, drop the top door back down and leave the lower open, and you can run your chute and all that stuff. So all hidden away from the cops. Yeah, pretty ridiculous. a lot of work. These will actually be tubbed into the door well, so we're actually tubbing the doors as well.
Jeez.
But yeah, a lot of trial and error. One of the only, if not the only car in Australia on 26 inches body width, so yeah.
Alright guys, that is it for this vlog today. Remember, this is Chris from 679 Style. You'll definitely see him in some more vlogs, guys. Keep an eye out to the channel, and there's a lot of stuff here that you have not seen yet.
Yeah. We'll keep some extra surprises for next time. Thanks for watching.
Yeah. Forrest is full pancake.